Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Forgiven AF Podcast. This is a second chance podcast that we use for marketing material for our mentorship program. A lot of you guys, it's been a couple months since I've dropped an episode. I kind of, just to be fully transparent with you guys, I kind of got myself in a little bit of rut. It's easy to get into a content block with this. And I'm kind of figuring this out as I go along. I'm not a professional podcaster. I want to get to that point, but just to be open and vulnerable and transparent with you guys, I didn't have it all figured out, but I'm working hard to get it back on track. The mentorship is rocking and rolling, y'all. We're getting a lot of good traction. We've been asked to be the title sponsor in a golf tournament in Mansfield, put on by the mayor pro temp, and then it's just an honor that he's asked us to come in, and a lot of the proceeds from the golf tournament will go to the mentorship program. We're going to bring a bunch of the boys out. They're going to hang out on different holes during the golf tournament, and it's just it's cool to get them in a different atmosphere than they're used to be. And so we're super excited about that tournament coming up.
That's pretty fly.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then last Saturday we had lunch with with our state representative in the Mansfield area in the Senate, or the Texas House, I guess it is. He took all of our boys to lunch. It was a really cool experience, and
that's what's up.
And it wasn't about politics. It was about how to be a man and family, and,
that's what's up.
And how to it was really cool. We want to make sure that it wasn't like a political talk, you know what I mean? Because that's not our point. We want to stay out of politics.
I feel you.
And then by the time this episode drops, I haven't been able to share this, but by the time this episode drops, I will be able to have shared this. I was just featured on, and I'm really proud of this. I don't say this to brag. I'm actually very nervous about it. But VH1, the TV channel, flew myself, my wife, my mom, and my ex-wife to New York last year. It had to be a secret, and we recorded an episode of what's called My True Crime Story, which is on VH1. It airs on the 16th, which this will drop on the 15th. So it airs on the 16th, and it's just basically an hour-long story about kind of my life, man. And it's still, to me, it's still kind of crazy because I look back at it and I'm like, well, I don't see you know what I mean? Like enough for it to be a story, but they thought it was. So we're going to roll with it and just pray about it and hope that God, uses it for his good, right?
Come on, man.
That's my plan with it. So this episode on this podcast, you guys, is one that I wanted to literally be my first episode. I know that I shot at him back then and I said, hey man, I'm about to do this podcast. And what I've noticed about my man, Freddie, who is on the show with us today, Freddie Flawless Jenkins. And what I've noticed about him is he's going to make sure that what I'm saying I'm doing, I'm actually doing before he puts himself behind it. You know what I mean? So it's cool that
it's
cool.
Not true.
It is
you
true.
You didn't get that from me.
You sat back and waited.
No. You said, I want you to come on the show. I said, bet, let's do it. And never heard from you again.
Man, I thought that you.
So while this is being recorded, this did not happen until now because this is when he finally said, hey man, let's get you on the show.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's on you, bro.
I know I told you about it, but it's awesome. And you know what? God handles things and puts them in the right placement. So
you got to have that follow-up, bro.
So
that follow-up.
That is true. I don't like to pressure. That's even like when it comes to me in sales. I'm not a big pressure type person. You know what I mean?
But it's not pressure.
I know. I just always feel like I'm pressuring people.
If the person say, I want it, let's do it.
That's true. Then we'll
say, all right, man, let's put something on the calendar.
Figure out how to get it done. Yeah.
That's
true. So Freddie Flawless Jenkins, man. So when I got while I was still in prison and I was working on my certifications, my mom found a gym that she would nonstop was talking about. Oh, it's called Fit Body Boot Camp. The owner's the coolest guy. His name's Freddie.
Shout out Cindy,
mom. And he had been to prison. So, and she knew that. And she was just trying to encourage me to be like, look, man, like this guy has it going on. He's got all these people in his gym that love him to death, and he's done some time. And I think she had told you about me. Hey, I have a son, and you were like, man, send him in here. I'll hook him up as soon as he gets home. And it's really cool because I got out with my certifications and really didn't have, I had $17 to my name and a 430 credit score. I tell everybody, it's crazy. Like everything was just shot. And you brought me on right away. You didn't hesitate. We had little bumps in the road there with scheduling because it was tough with the halfway house, trying to deal with the halfway house of scheduling stuff. But anyways, I'm still grateful for you giving me that opportunity. I know I've told you that a bunch of times.
God is good.
Because it wasn't just an opportunity in the gym business. Because of that, I was able to meet my wife, like I met my wife through your gym, and then we were, you were supportive in us then eventually, opening up our own gym, which was
I was
cool.
in your wedding.
You were in my wedding. You were best man in my wedding.
It was dope.
Heck yeah, that was awesome. So, anyways, I'm just really thankful that you're here. I'm thankful for you. I'm excited for you to share your story because I know that there's a bunch of people that could get things out of it, especially your transformation to loving the Lord and the way you love the Lord, man, is really impressive to me, and it's something that I've been able to feed off of being friends with you. So, if you could just kind of take over for him, maybe start from the beginning, kind of where you're from, what your upbringing was like, just kind of some of the starting out basics.
Awesome. Okay. Like you said, my name is Fred Flawless, what I go by. I grew up in a city called Gardena, California. Basically there until about 12 years ago. So really my whole life was lived in California. I moved all around California, but grew up in a home, mom and a dad, a little brother, 2 little sisters. I guess the way I would describe my upbringing would be, I was born in the 70s, so man.
Freddy's awesome little kids.
My kids are here.
Come say hi real quick.
They don't like Power Rangers. We try to put Power Rangers on.
Come over, wave, say hi to the camera and say hi, you guys.
Okay, guys, so listen, here's what I'm going to need y'all to do, please, because we are in the middle of recording. So, choice. Power Rangers, color. Life's full of choices.
We got to finish this recording. We can't stop it now, okay? Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate y'all. So, no, just let it play. Thank you, son. So, yeah, that's my full-time job right there. The way I would describe my upbringing, I was born in 75. I don't know how to say it any other way. I had a mean father and a very passive mom. And because of that, like he had a military background, he was raised by a woman who had 9 kids. He was the oldest. So I felt like he had to grow up fast. So he wasn't the most kind, loving, gentle, so forth and so on. And I felt like the best way to describe it, and the reason I'm kind of handling this carefully is because me and my father have no beef now. So I don't want to dishonor him, but I want to try to give my truth. But so he was abusive. The physical, the whoopings went beyond. And I'm the oldest of 4, and I'm 7 years older than my siblings. So it was a pretty big gap. And because of just the way he was very, very strict, that military, like, can't do this, can't wear this, can't wear that, don't watch this, don't watch that. It kind of just made me to be like, I want to say it carefully. Man, I just feel like I was a kid that just didn't know how to, I didn't have a place to express myself. I wasn't safe to express myself. So I lived in a mindset of like fight or flight. And I couldn't fight my dad. And I couldn't flight except a few times I ran away when I became like 15. And basically that lifestyle, that life, that unhappiness, I always felt like I was in a bubble. I used to just dream about leaving and being on my own. So around 15, I discovered marijuana. And then that started like my path to freedom, not freedom, but escape from the home I was in because I was very miserable. Around 15, I tried to take my life, left a note at my mom's door, and then she woke up. Because of that, I ended up in the system. They pulled me out of the home. But basically, you take a caged animal, you have them caged up for 15 years, and then you open the cage. I feel like it was the best thing that happened to me, but that's where all of my drama started in my life. So 15, it went marijuana, and then alcohol, and then I think every other drug that you can name, except some of the new age drugs. And that just kind of sent me, I don't know, that's what I said, just path of destruction, man, just all over the place. Wild animal with it. Became a full-time drug dealer to make ends meet. That's how I lived. Let
me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
I want to dig in this because I'm going to this men's course and it's called Better Man, right? And
I know them. I know those guys.
Program, yeah. And yesterday was week 1, and I couldn't believe this number. 81% of men, 81%, their father never told them that they loved them. When I hear that blows me away because my family's like I love you, I love you, I love you. Like we leave each other's presents, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I want to write that down. I'll get those from you later. My ink pen fell out. So 81%.
81% of men have never heard from their father, like growing up, I love you. And to me, I thought that was
So your pop said that
all the time.
That's dope.
Yeah, all the time.
That's
And
dope.
and I say it with my son, like every time we get off the phone, every time. Was your father like verbally at least like loving, or was it just kind of just the strictness just overshadowed it all?
Man, it's kind of. I don't remember hearing my dad say "I love you." There was like it's crazy. Like in the midst of, I want to say this is really loud. In the midst of the dysfunction, I still came up with two parents. Now, as I got older, I was like, this ain't healthy. I'm out of here. You know, you're like 15, 16, you're starting to find your own way.
Yeah.
Think you're a man, you can figure it out. But there was some great things that I did notice and learn from him. That military strictness gave me like a drive. I think that's part of the reason why when I said I'm done breaking the law and being out here hustling in the streets, I was like, what am I gonna do now? I'm a felon. I'm gonna build a business. Yeah. So like, I feel like there were some things that was instilled in me, but like love, nah. I mean, I fulfilled the emptiness in my heart of love through women and money.
That's awesome.
I've made a lot of money to buy things that I wanted that made me feel good, and woman after woman after woman, which, man, that was stupid.
No, but that makes sense. And I'm wondering if that's because you're searching for something. But so
100%. I think that's it. I think that's definitely it.
So once you started getting in trouble, didn't you go to prison for a certain period? Like,
yeah. So 15, boys home. So when I got in boys home, man, I feel so sorry for those people. I was like, oh, y'all can't whoop me. See, I'm a ward of the state, so I acted a fool, bro. And up until I was 18, I never had any serious run-ins with the law, which I want to say this really loudly. One of my biggest struggles is pride. I kind of felt like I was the SHI turning 18. Like, I've been out here smoking, drinking, stealing stuff, doing my thing. I ain't never been caught up. It wasn't very short after kind of me starting to feel like I had it figured out that I caught my first case. I don't know, it was like a petty theft or something. But bro, that first time in jail, you like, oh heck no, this crazy. Yep. So that just continued on. It, you get out of jail, you're like, God, please, 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 and then you get out and you're like, man, that wasn't that bad. Then the confidence, which is really pride comes before a fall, gets bigger, and I'm taking bigger risk. By this time, I'm not moving little bags of weed. Now I'm picking up quarter pounds, trying to get myself my hands on pounds. Yeah. And again, just bigger, stupider mistakes. So by the time my first son was born, he's 27. I was selling crack cocaine. I was on the street, headed home, got pulled over, and I had a pocket full of stones, rocks for people who don't know what that is, and caught my first case. So that just put me in jail. So this is now my first real case. I've had some petty thefts before then, but that was kind of like slap on the wrist, misdemeanor. Here's my first felony. They gave me 180 days and I only did 4 months. And I remember feeling like that was forever. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But I got out, and man, unfortunately, I hadn't changed a bit. I got right out. I think I went and got a job, like a regular type or whatever, but the money that you making money from selling dope, then you get back. So I went back to it, and then I got caught up on some real, and I caught a robbery, carjacking, and then that one was out of the county I was in. So I was in LA County. I was in a different county, got caught in a new case. So fought that, pled guilty. Me pleading guilty now violated my probation in LA County, which now that sent me upstate. So I finished my time in Orange County. They took me right to LA County. They found me guilty, violating my probation. Then I got sent to prison. And then that's when I was like, oh, snap. But I didn't wise up then. When I came out of prison after that 3 years, I was an atheist. And I had this awakening in prison that God was fake and everybody who believed in God was just weak. And that's okay, but they were weak. They couldn't stand in the mirror and face themselves and deal with the real. And I was like, I'm in hell right now. Being in prison, this is hell. And being in heaven is on the streets. So I came out a renewed drug dealer. The happy, like fun, like you want to buy some drugs? I'm going to do some drugs with you. I'm going to get you the best hookup on drugs. We're going to all have fun.
It was like this enlightenment awakening.
Oh, man, it was the most idiotic thing I ever did in my life. So about 2 years of that life, I ended up with my second child on the way, my daughter Natanya, who's now 21. And this is weird, man. I don't know what happened. She was scheduled to be aborted. This is really crazy. I was hanging out with a lady that I was messing with. I had multiple women at the time. We were going to go snowboarding, bro. This is crazy. And we just sitting there. She's in the bathtub. We just talking. I get this weird, crazy feeling. And I'm like, what? And I felt like if my daughter's mom had the abortion, I had a feeling that my daughter's mom was going to die. And though I didn't want to be with her, I didn't want her to die. Like, I didn't want that on my conscience. And it was just something like weird. So the girl I was with there, she didn't even know. So I'm like, hey, man, I got to tell you something. I'm like, I'm messing with, and she pregnant. She's supposed to have an abortion tomorrow. I got a real bad feeling. I need to go. And I just got up, boom, went over there, and I was like, hey, you can't have this abortion tomorrow. I think something bad going to happen. We need to figure this out. We need to work this out. And us working it out wasn't the answer. Us working it out wasn't the answer. But I'm grateful that I stopped her from aborting my daughter. And that voice thing that happened there, man, I don't know what happened. But I started to come out of the atheist thing. Like, I started having some occurrences that I was like, either I'm tripping or there's really a God, or like, this is crazy. So it just kind of humbled me and scared me at the same time. But I still wasn't done. But now I'm no longer an atheist. I'm kind of like, okay, God is real. So, yeah, it was crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I'm glad you shared that about your daughter because, yeah, that is a tough situation.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but now you have that beautiful little girl. So,
man, she is moving down here in 17 days.
Oh, yeah, you said that. That's awesome.
17 days. So excited.
I know you're excited about that. That's cool.
Heck yeah.
So, okay, so then we get out that last time.
I didn't.
When?
So when Natanya was born, thank you for bringing me back on it. Hope I'm not getting too long with it. Natanya was born. 3 months after Natanya was born, I went back to prison for a violation of parole.
And then that was the last time.
That was it. Okay. I was like, really?
So this is,
my son was 6 months. I went to jail. It was like I seen a pattern.
Yeah.
My son was 6 months. I went to jail. My daughter's 3 months. I'm back in prison.
While you were in prison this last time, did you actually think to yourself, "Hey, this is it"? Like,
nah, bro, crazy. In the car, in the police car.
Oh, on your way to prison.
It was over. I remember. You don't remember. I don't remember a lot, but I remember that. I was like, "Wow, this is what we doing?
Yeah.
This is what we doing? 3 months. Got a baby at home 3 months, and this is what we doing? Back to going." So I was done right there. I didn't know what the next move was, but I know it wasn't anything illegal. Yeah, I was like, I'm done with this.
I remember that feeling for me for sure.
Yeah, crazy.
I knew that I was done because I always like, man, I'll just sell drugs until I get in trouble and then I'll get probation. Well, I skipped that whole part of it. I went straight to the feds. I went straight to the feds. I skipped the whole probation part. I'm like, hold up, don't we get like a slap on the wrist somewhere? How come I didn't get that?
Hey, that's like my friend Shawada. We run our apparel business. She always says, every time you make a plan, God laughs. Like,
yeah, that's so true,
man.
All right, so then, you and Natanya's mom don't work out.
Nah.
You end up moving out to Texas. I mean, you get a job, right?
So me and Natanya's mom don't work out. I get out of prison. We're co-parenting. I get married. I was married for about 7 years. Oh, so I ended up in fitness. Yeah, thank God. So and I'm like, what am I gonna do, right? So I ended up working out at LA Fitness, and man, it's like, okay, I found my thing. I'm great at this. People getting results. They like me. Shoot to the top. District vice president. Yay. I'm killing it, making $100,000+ a year, brand new car off the BMW lot. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. So me and that woman, that wife, didn't work out. I think I still had a lot of maturing to do. I was trying really hard, though. I really want to say that. Like, I wasn't a total piece of crap, but I was still kind of piece of crap. Just legal. So when we get a divorce, before I leave LA Fitness, I got to a point where I was like, you know what? All this political crap, I don't want to deal with. Like, I'm good in my business, but being a district vice president came with a lot more responsibility and drama behind the scenes that I didn't know happened in a big corporation like that. And it wasn't no fun anymore. So I decided to walk away from LA Fitness using the information that I had learned over the last 4 or 5 years. And then I started my own thing and took off. Boom. Me and my ex-wife get a divorce. I give her the business in California, and then I moved to Texas. And that was in 2012.
Yeah.
2012.
And then you come here and you open your own. In
2012, I formed my LLC. Still have it, Flawless Fitness LLC. And yeah, man, I was just looking at pictures the other day. Yeah, I started there, started in the park again, then found a spot and just slowly grew it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then a few years after that, I come into the picture. I get to come meet you.
Yeah.
I come home, I come meet you. And man, one thing about working for you, your people loved you. Like you had you know what I mean? Everyone, all your members of your gym loved you. You had a really good following. You still do. That's why you can get back into it like that and still have people to come following you.
Humbled.
That's pretty cool, you know?
I appreciate the love.
So you meet Crystal.
Boom!
You meet Crystal, who's your wife.
Yes.
Would you say that Crystal was a big part of your transformation into finding the Lord and, your
1,000%.
And it's funny because our stories are actually really similar. It's crazy.
No, 1,000%.
It's crazy how similar our stories. And so let's talk about meeting Crystal, kind of how that worked, how she led you to the Lord to where we are now.
So I can't say that she led me to the Lord. This is really, and I love this. Crystal is a hardworking woman. I got a call from one of my trainers like, yo, you need to certify this girl. So that's how the introduction happened. I wasn't even active in my gym at the time because I had purchased the second and was about to open the third. So anyway, I reach out to her. Now there's open lines of conversation and communication back and forth. And she had this really strong reputation at my gym of like a really godly woman. And like when I say a really godly woman, like I think all the men out there who came across a girl who's like, I'm like not into that right now. You can kind of see through it. But no, like Crystal was really on that. She was just like saving myself and my husband. Like she was just on a different level. So anyway, we ended up hanging out talking, and I was just like blown away by her realness, bro. She was really raw, but she was still really she was really solid on her faith, but then she was kind of raw, and I had never seen that. Like she talked about her struggles. She just didn't act like she had it all together.
Yeah.
But she seemed like she really loved the Lord. And it was weird to me. I was like, what?
That's almost refreshing, right? Like
it was crazy.
You're like, oh, wait, we don't have to be this perfect Christian to love God that much.
Facts.
Like I can be messed up and
Facts.
still love the Lord.
Facts.
But that's one of the biggest messages that need to get out to the world.
Bro, our first time hanging out was at a cigar bar. And we joke about it. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Is this an emergency? Is there blood? Is there blood? Is anything broken? Can you wait? I love you. So our first hangout, we joke about it because she calls it a date because I picked up the bill and picked her up. I call it a hangout because I was just like looking for somebody to chill with and talk. I took her to a cigar bar, and the idea I had about Christians was you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't cuss, you don't have sex, like all these rules. And she's like, oh yeah, we can go to a cigar bar. And I was like, oh, for real? Okay, cool. But I wasn't trying to impress her.
Yeah.
But she was just chill. I was just like, oh, this chick different. So that was the beginning. And then so we started talking back and forth a little bit, and then we hung out, and then I think we both realized like, there's something here. then I went home and I prayed this prayer. When I thought the chance for us to be together, I said, dear Lord, I'm gonna need some help with this one because on my own I'm gonna F this up. That was my prayer. It was the most genuine prayer. So at that time I had a relationship with God. I think I was trying to wake up in the morning, pray, do a little meditation or something, journal. I don't know. I was just trying.
Yeah.
But there was really no depth, I guess. It was just kind of like going through the motions, just trying to be a good person.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then when I prayed that prayer, it's funny, I think that was my most real prayer. I just knew like this is important. I'm sorry. This is really important. We got into a little joke argument about sleeping together. And she's like, I'm not sleeping with you. And I was kind of like, I ain't trying to take it there with you. I realize who you are. So we kind of started back and forth joking over it. And what was said was, at the end of one night, because I was like, I bet you I'll get you to sleep with me if I wanted to. I'm not trying to take it there. And then she said to me, you know what? I underestimated you. And I think you could get me to sleep with you. But if I slept with you, I'd feel so ashamed before God, I would never want to see you again.
I remember you
and
saying
I was like, what? Like, what?
But how often? That's so true, though. Like, think about it. We've been like that with girls. So imagine about a girl who feels like that, you know?
Yeah. That one hit my, I had never been hit that hard because it was so real.
Because the shame or whatever would have kept her from wanting to even see you again. Yeah.
So
imagine how you could mess something up over one time of just trying to get some, like, and you could ruin what God had planned for y'all. That's crazy, right?
100%.
So check this out. So I'm going to call when you're meeting Crystal. I know you believed in God, right? But your like transformation into even like 100%. The lifestyle of love, you know what I mean? Of
it all did start with her, 100%.
Okay. So when you met Crystal and you locked all in and you were like, hey, I'm going in on this life for God, right?
Yeah.
What was some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you first gave your life to the Lord? Like, what was some of the like being pulled in certain directions
wow.
or these questions?
I think the biggest challenge, number one, this is crazy, was probably pornography, lust.
That's so real. I'm glad that.
And probably the love of money. Probably. So I've come to realize that some men in high power positions that are like hard, like use pornography as a way of escape to feel a sense of control. Didn't know that, but I heard, I was like, because I've never been in a relationship where pornography trumped my relationship. I'm like, no, my woman's my woman. This kind of just gives me a release. So I knew that wasn't right, you know? Yeah. So, and I didn't want to bring that into my marriage.
That's a good one, though.
And by the grace of God, man, I can say we've been married 8 years, April 7th. But there have been some slips. But in 8 years, man, I can't count on one hand. And I can tell her. That's dope. And then
that's really cool.
Lust is still a battle. We're very open about it. I appreciate thick thighs and curvy.
Nice. I mean, I heard a pastor one time say, if she's fine, she's fine. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's pretty, she's pretty. Now, there's a point that you can, draw it out to where we're inappropriate. But
it can get stupid. 100%.
If she's fine, she's fine.
You got an emergency?
The dog keeps fussing and
Then stop playing with him and don't let him see you. Thank you.
So check this out. Those are great. I'm really proud of you for bringing up the pornography one because there's so many studies that show that pornography is one of the things that keeps young men away from the Lord because of the shame behind it. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So many we get caught up in that lifestyle pornography, and then there's a shame that comes with that. You know what I mean? Like even if people don't realize it.
Nah, like, I'm listening. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought that up because there's a lot of people and that's a big struggle that it ruins men. Mm-hmm. Like it makes men soft. It makes it. You know what I mean? Like I don't mean not. Anyways, so thank you for sharing that and being open with that because that's cool. I think someone will get something out of that.
And then the love of money, man. You can't. I gotta really tap on that one. Because that's just.
So has God changed your perspective on any of those things?
100%. 100%.
How did it change your perspective when it comes to money?
So.
That's a good.
So it's crazy driving down here. Perfect example. Driving down here, we were talking to my kids. My priority now is my wife and my children. I believe that God will provide. There's still that man in me that's hard charging. That's like, let's go get it. Let's figure it out. But as I've continued to dig into that word and like my prayers are really more of like, man, Lord, I'm struggling right now. I need help. Like that's my prayer.
Yeah.
I don't have this perfectly put together prayer. And really one of the prayers I'll be saying is like, man, Lord, like I'll read something, right? Like I don't know the scripture. I'm not great with all that, but like I know the Bible tells me I'm supposed to serve my wife and put my wife first. Love your wife like Christ loved the church. He first gave. So learning to love my wife and care for her needs and my children's needs over mine, that's not natural for me.
No,
I was raised to go get it. You go get the money, you pay the bills. I love you. But that's not how my wife experiences loves or feels loved. And I'm noticing that my children don't experience love like that. Like, they want to spend time with me. So I have had to say, okay, God, so you telling me to make this a priority. I'm not taking no more phone calls after this time. Or one of the things we practice is I shut my phone off on Saturday, and it's family. We practice Sabbath, hardcore, locked in. My phone is in the drawer.
I need to do that.
And man, bro, you got to do it just do it one Saturday. It's crazy.
I know I need to do that. I'm actually going to. I keep saying I'm going to do 30 minutes a night. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but for me, that would be a big deal just to start off with somewhere. For 30 minutes, I'm going to put my phone up.
I think it's a big deal if you start with it.
Check this out. So I see the perspective shift now, now that everything is more tuned to family, right? Which makes it, couple questions here that it's kind of important that people have. What sort of habits, would you contribute? Like, what are the changes in habits that you've had that have contributed to your success?
Wow. What are some of the habits? Well, where we are, I think faith and fitness go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I got to say, I don't believe faith without fitness works very well. I don't know if there's truly happy, healthy, I'm talking spiritually, mentally, physically, Christians who are not caring for their body in some level that can actually look me in the eyes and like, nah, man, I'm happy. I'm like, you a lie. So I think number one, I'm grateful that God gave me a love for fitness, and coming to Christ has redefined what that looks like. It used to be about big backs and six packs. And hey, I love leaving the gym with a pump.
Yeah.
But I will have 30 minutes and not have the desired hour and a half, 2 hours that I can love to do the workout and get the feel I want. And I'm going to take the 30 minutes to clear my mind.
I agree with that.
So like learning, we were made to move. I think that's 100% something that a lot of people miss out on. But also with that, I'm learning, like, I was made by God and no one can help me understand me better than God. So it's all these gurus and fitness people out here and just life coaches that kind of like talk to people about who they are and this is your personality type. And I call BS on all of that because I feel like God uniquely made all of us. So I just have conversations with God. Like, so locking in on my faith, like I said, my book is just like, man, Lord, I'm just so grateful this morning. Thank you for just waking me and just giving me a beautiful wife. And I just be talking to the Lord. That is like, has to happen for me. And when it doesn't, because it doesn't always happen, busy season happens, I get distracted. I feel it. I feel.
I like that.
Kind of like I'm drifting or like I'm fuzzy or like I'm not as patient with my kids. It's just like,
I mean, both those two things go hand in. I think that those are the two perfect things, at least for me, exercise and time either in the Lord or talking to the Lord. Like those two things can completely change my outlook on any day, any situation. If I can get a workout in and spend some time in the Lord, I can calm myself down. I could get myself energetic. Like it's whatever I need, I can get from
right.
So and it could be either way. But if I go in asking, hey, get my workout in, set the tone, spend some time in the Word or spend some time in prayer, you can really set yourself up. So I agree with both those, and I think that that's perfect.
Now wait, I got to give you another because this one is huge.
Okay.
And this is the one that really scared me in the beginning. It's community.
That's good. Yeah.
This has changed my life. Today is Thursday. Tuesday night we had community. So our community group got this weird schedule. On every other Tuesday, the husbands meet at one of the guys' house and the wives are at the other guy's house. And then on that next Sunday, we meet together as a family, have dinner together, chill, catch up. And that is my church. So people say, what church you go to? The name of the church that I'm a member of is called Clear Fork. The church I attend is the church of Michael Powell, Nick Johnson, Dan Monty, and Freddie Jenkins. That's my men's Bible study. And then the families that I just mentioned, we just had a young man join us this Tuesday But that's where my church is, bro. And what I have learned, oh, this is crazy. I need a place where I could just be me. Yeah. Just like, all right, man, what's going on this week? Well, I ain't really been spending time in the Lord. I'm struggling with insecurity lately. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not meeting my wife. I'm really feeling a lot of anger. Lust has been hard this week. I don't know. My schedule's packed. I haven't prioritized my wife. I need a place to do that because every time I leave, bro, every time, 1,000%, whenever I leave that meeting with those men, I'm driving from whoever's house and I'm like, dang, that was good.
Yeah, me too.
And on the next morning, it's like I'm reset. And I don't want to say like that's the answer, but I feel like the answer is in that group of men. There are other men that are trying to be godly husbands, godly fathers, and trying to wrestle with their sin, like outwardly, like, yeah, man, this is something that I've been struggling with. I want to just be real. And we pray and we try to encourage each other through scripture. And it's just real. Like that, right? Those two, faith and fitness, I guess it's kind of faith, but community specifically. No, I tell people I don't feel like Christianity is done best solo bolo. You're going to get ate up by Satan. Really you need a squad. Yeah. You need help.
And you definitely, and you need a group of men or women that you can be 100% open, vulnerable, transparent. It needs to, but men have been taught so long over the past few years that that's weak or that that's soft or stop being like.
I don't know if they've been taught, but I remember the first time in my church, some people got it transparent. Crystal hates this. We went to this thing. I don't remember what it was. Forgive me. I married a white woman, so don't take this personal, white people, if y'all watching this. I love everybody. But we had churches, mostly white people there, and they asked to introduce ourselves. I was like, man, I really like this church, but I ain't going to be telling all my business like you crazy white folk. My wife was like, what? It's like, I love them, but they white. These white people crazy. They telling everybody their business. But I started realizing, like,
that's actually healthy.
I think this is helping them.
Yeah.
And you would hear somebody else like, man, I struggle with that too. I was like, oh, that's what's up. Okay. Everybody ain't putting on a facade. I don't even know why you just don't talk about your struggle. I don't, but I just thought they were stupid. Like, why are you telling your business like that?
Yeah, no, I've heard that before from people too. But it's been, for me, having a group of men that I can go to and I can be fully open, man, I messed up, this happened, or I can, because that shame, again, for me, it all comes down to shame. Like, you know what I mean? If you can share that with someone and not be embarrassed about it, then you can have freedom from whatever it is.
Facts.
But you try to keep stuff hidden and dark, that's not, it doesn't work for that.
Creepy stuff grows in the dark.
Okay, so we have our community, we have faith and fitness, which are awesome. Now, how do you stay consistent in these even when you're not feeling motivated? So like even when you're not, because I have my ups and downs with the Lord. I got to be completely honest. I have
absolutely.
My week where you can't get me out of the Bible, and I have 3 where I don't even open my Bible.
100%.
And then I have a week. So how do you find that consistency when you're not feeling motivated?
Okay, so stay with me on this because I really got 2 answers for this. Number 1, I no longer have a goal to read my Bible every day. We've been in fitness long enough to know that people set goals and they fail at them all the time.
Yeah.
And then when they fail, they feel like a failure, and then shame.
And they just quit.
And then some will push through, but many not strong enough mentally to push through, right?
Yep.
So shout out to Jefferson Bethke. This dude is amazing. There's a book called Take Back Your Family that he wrote, and To Hell with the Hustle. In one of the books he was talking about, if there's a goal in life, it shouldn't be anything other than becoming more like Christ. So whatever that looks like for you, here's Fred. Love and serve my wife, love and serve my kids. Let my light shine in whatever work I'm doing, be it, our apparel brand, fitness, whatever. Spend quality time with the Lord. Now, if I'm focused on becoming more like Christ, that doesn't have to happen every single day. I have some things that I would like to happen to be a more loving husband, which will reflect Christ in my wife or my children, blah, 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 blah. But I might miss a date night one week. But if I'm trying to continue to become more like Christ, then it will happen again. Yeah. And I believe it's one of those things where if it's important enough to you, it will happen. So you'll look at my journal. I may have Tuesday morning where I wrote something, and then like you said, Wednesday, Thursday, I didn't. This just so happened I had a really good moment. I went through the whole book of Ephesians, sitting in my truck and just taking notes. It don't always happen like that. But I know who I want to become. I want to be less of me. I prayed the prayer when I came here. I'm like, man, Lord, I ask that you help me decrease and that you increase. Like, I want people to see you, not me. So I feel like it's a matter of kind of understanding who you want to become and continually working on that. The other part, people like, man, I'm not motivated to work out. I wish I was like you, or I'm not motivated. I'm like, bro, I'm not motivated. I'm not motivated. If I only did this when I was motivated, I'd never get anywhere. So I always said, like, hey, you come home tired from work, do you take a shower? Like, heck yeah. I said, when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth? Like, yeah. Okay. So you do it because why? That's what you're supposed to. Got to. Have to. That's where my mind is.
Yeah.
It's not an option to.
It's good. It's just the discipline.
It's not even, I guess it's a discipline. It's not an option. I can't breathe without God. I know me. I can't breathe, bro. I'm a horrible husband. I'm short. I'm rude. I'm impatient. I only think of myself. My nature is selfish as hell. My children irritate me. But when I read the word of God,
that's so good because it's true.
It speaks to me. Bro, do you understand, bro? When I correct my kids, when I'm alone, I feel like a little voice telling me, like, you know, you struggle with that too, right? And then, because I want my children to always come to me first, we'll sit down. I'm like, hey, bro. I said, you know how Daddy told you to stop whining? This just happened. I said, you know how Daddy told you to stop whining? I said, yeah. I said, yeah. And I know you're going to probably still struggle with that. But you know the Bible tell Daddy? That I shouldn't be irritable. I said, do you think I was irritable when I was talking to you? He's like, yeah. I said, I know. We're going to work it out together. But I just want you to know that because
that's good parenting.
I ain't got it. I messed up. I'm just your daddy. I love you. I don't want you to whine. It really irritates me. But the Bible tells me I shouldn't be irritated. I don't know how to not be irritated unless I ask God to help me.
It's good. I apologize to my son all the time.
So,
that's something I have
it's crazy, man. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I love that too, bro. That's really good with the consistency and how you stay in it. Like if you just realize that it's something you need, like brushing your teeth, it's just part of it. It's just what you do. And then you might have a couple, like you said, you might have a couple of days here and there when you miss, but if that's where your heart posture is led towards, you're going to get back on it rather than
you might be on vacation and wake up late, go in the kitchen to eat something and forget to brush your teeth till later on in the day. But you going to brush your teeth.
Yeah, you'll get back. Yeah, you get back to it.
You gonna brush your teeth.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
So check this out. We only got a few minutes left, but
no worries.
But a couple things I want to make sure we hit on. So, you grew up. The gyms grew up. You ended up selling a couple of them.
Yep.
And then, so the gym that I work for, you blew those up. You had 3 of them. They were all booming. You ended up selling them, a couple of them, right? You sold 2 of them.
I sold 2.
Yeah.
And then we shut the last during COVID.
Yeah. So sold 2, then shut the last one down. So what are you doing now? Like, what is I mean, I know what it is, but I want you to get it out there, especially the clothing brand, and then.
Yeah, appreciate that. So, number 1, my wife and I have moved our life around to prioritize loving each other and parenting, and it ain't perfect. I should probably create a YouTube because it's messy, but we're in the process of right now homeschooling our children. We're both very, very passionate about not letting anyone speak into our children's lives at any level that we don't have some say over, especially while they're so young and impressionable. So that's the number 1 thing I'm doing is like I'm prioritizing my wife and my kids. And that's interesting because I've never done it before and I ain't never seen it. So I'm kind of in uncharted waters. Number 2, I still do personal training and meal prepping. Still running under Flawless Fitness. I do small group personal training. So it's like a one-on-one personal trainer, but because I have a small group, I don't charge the high one-on-one rate. So it's been really great for me. I got a really awesome amount of people. I got like 50-something people that I train. It's just dope. Love that. Have a lot of fun. And then the other thing, shout out to my girl, the queen mother, Shawana. So a good friend of mine, Shawana, she created a brand called BGA and loved it. She created it. It's called Black Gifted and Amazing. And she created it basically because she wanted to affirm her son, single mama. And man, I just loved everything because when I met her, I was like, oh, so this is like, you like a pro-black, da-da-da. And she's like, well, it's really not a pro-black movement because I'm not against anyone. But it's like, yeah, it's like pro my son and he's black. But it was like, we're not here to step on the toes of anyone else. And I was like, oh, I can vibe with that. So her and I decided to partner on her brand. So now we are pushing BGA. And really, it's all about giving back. So like our next podcast is like highlighting black, gifted, amazing, whoever they are. Cool. So yeah, so the apparel, BGA Amazing.
How do they find that on like Instagram or website?
On Instagram, you can find BG Amazing on all the handles. I'll send them to you. You can put them on here. And then Flawless Fitness, you can just hit me directly. I don't like social media so much. You need it in this day and age, but every day I get home, I usually take social media off my phone, so I miss a lot of messages. I opened up TikTok today. I was like, oh, I got all these messages. So, yeah, man, it's been crazy. I'm in uncharted waters.
It's been awesome watching your journey, and I'm excited to see what you got coming up next because I know it'll be something special.
I pray.
I know it will. Who knows? People follow you, man. When you have an idea, you go all in on it. And
truth be told, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Lord, what's next? Yeah. I'm asking the Lord, like, we just got our idea what we're going to do for our podcast because we was doing podcasts just to kind of get comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, with it. But I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about Kanye West and current events.
You were trying to do current, yeah.
We just trying to get comfortable. I'm like, nah, man. I was like, hey, why don't we just like find black, gifted, amazing people in the community, highlight them, get them on there, talk about their business and what they do and how they make an impact. She's like, yeah,
that's the play. I think
and that, yeah, so I'm just praying every day, like, Lord, what's next?
I love it. Hey, last thing before I let you go, if you had one piece of advice you could give yourself at 16 years old, or give to one of the kids in our mentorship program at 16 years old, what would it be?
Man, great. Number one, don't let anyone convince you, Fred, myself, or a young man that God is not real, but don't miss out on the opportunity to get to know God for yourself. And like I said, you got all these gurus, life coaches, and people, these tests that tell you who you are, and this is your personality type. And I think there's some realness to it, but I don't think anyone knows us better than God. And what I have figured out is when I literally be just like, man, Lord, I need help. And it's not like, answer me in 2 seconds. Like, relationship, like, I need help. God will reveal himself to you, either through reading the Bible, through community group, somebody. So, yeah, man, I think I would just, because I rebelled against God, and I don't think that hurt anyone but myself. So I would have to say, man, know that God is real. Don't ever doubt it. And get to know God for yourself.
Form that relationship, yeah.
Get to know him. Your best friend is your best friend because you probably know their favorite food, what their favorite movie. Y'all know what y'all like to do together. Y'all favorite games. Like, get to know God for yourself, his son Jesus, on a very deep personal level for yourself. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
I think that's great advice, and I agree with every bit of it.
And find yourself. I'm sorry. And while you're doing that, you do need somebody to mentor you along the way. Because I think on your own, you're going to flounder.
Yeah.
And that's super important. I feel like you need to find somebody that is living a life that looks like something you like. I would aspire to be that way. Get close to that person.
I'm a huge advocate for that. I think mentorship is the key. I mean, why not take that shortcut and learn from that person, what they've been through, or what they can teach you? I'm telling
100%.
you, that's the key to success.
That's the shortcut.
But I definitely think that you have to have God right there walking with you. So
100%.
Those two hand in hand, it doesn't get much better than that. Thank you, man, for being on the show, Freddie.
My pleasure.
It means a lot to me. I love you, dog.
Love you too, big dog.
Remember, you guys, if you're watching, that you're loved and you're forgiven, and there's nothing you can do about it. And one last thing, y'all, I know it's kind of begging, but it really helps us with the ratings and pushing this thing. If you guys will hit us with a review or something, or share this with someone that you're friends with, anyone that you know might be struggling with that walk or anything like that. But again, man, you're loved, you're forgiven, and see you next time.